I'm so happy you're back. I'm Adam Pears. This is the Pear Naked Truth, a podcast about life and everything else. I'm autistic. You're in my house. We're in New York City in my sunroom, and I do all of this for you. So it's just like you and I here. It's just the two of us. So I'm going to tell you the story about how I shot this show for MTV. The show is called Made. It's when they take you. Anyway, I'll explain it later. So we're going to talk about Made, and then as part of the show, I was part of the Navy SEALs, or like did this basic training for a week, Navy SEAL search and rescue. I'll tell you about that, and I was like faking asthma attacks and all these things. What else? And then we're gonna finish with my favorite things. Anyway, I'm gonna go get dressed, and I'm gonna get dressed, come back, and yeah, see you in a second. Welcome back. I'm Adam Pears. This is the Pear Naked Truth, a podcast about life, everything. I'm autistic. I tell you about my adventures, misadventures, and the learnings that I learned along the way. I get like a little like jittery every time you come over. I like do all this coffee because I don't. Nobody likes a sleepy queen. Now, I know Zach tells me not to be long-winded. Zach's my producer who's here. But you have to, before I can get into the show, I have to tell you the context that the show was like coming into, you know. My mom and my stepdad had just gotten married, maybe like 2 years before. We're living in New Jersey, Secaucus, New Jersey. My brother and I are maybe the like only two black kids in town, in this like very small town. We'll talk about the town later, or maybe we'll talk about it today. We'll see where this goes. So I had moved from the South, in Virginia. I went to middle school. It was awful. I was fat. It was terrible. Then this summer, going into ninth grade, I lost a ton of weight and came back a skinny legend. We were living in Richmond, Virginia, like outside Richmond, Virginia. It was awful. My dad, who had already had like strokes and stuff, came to take care of us but couldn't. He's autistic but was never diagnosed and needed a lot of care, and things were crazy. So my mom would go up to New Jersey to work because this is where the bank consulting group that she worked with was up there, and then she would come up, drive down like 3.5 hours to Virginia to take care of the household. But that meanwhile, my dad, who was supposed to be the one taking care of us, would forget me at school. Like I would be at school, and it's like 8 p.m. And I'm like, where is he? And I'm calling and he's not picking up. And he was like, oh, sorry, buddy. I just like fell asleep. And what am I supposed to do? and I would always get like so annoyed. I'm just like, why are you like this? Like, why you can't even function? How are you supposed to be like taking care of me? You were worse than a babysitter. And then he would be starting dinner at like 10 p.m. It was like every night. So anyway, so then my mom was just like, this is a nut house, and I'm going to move you guys up. So we had lived in a hotel, which was a lot of fun for the first time going into New Jersey. Anyway, hopefully you followed that story. Okay, so now I'm at this new school and going up to the school. Oh, right, this was the point that I was supposed to be making. And I remember we were driving up, and it was the last time I was going to be in Virginia, and there was a full moon, and I was looking out, and I like made this wish, and I was just like, I'm leaving behind all of that negative stuff. Everything that is not who I am not that girl. I am not that girl. I'm meant for to be. I am a secure person, and I knew that I was better than what I had been before. So I left that whole world behind, went to this new school where they didn't know, and got my braces off aggressively. Like I wanted braces like very early. And it was like so good with like keeping the bands and everything, because I wanted my braces off by ninth grade, because I'd seen all of those movies where people talk, get made fun of as being brace face and all these things. Hindsight, the whole gap that I was like trying to close ended up being permanent because I had braces too early. So I had braces too early, and then I hit puberty, my jaw moved, and now I have this Madonna gap that I can't get rid of without it like breaking my jaw and like completely redoing everything. So the irony here. That yeah. Anyway, sometimes you have to wait for things to be done. But that was anyway. I'm a gapped person. This was not the point. That was not the point of the story. Keep listening. We're gonna make the point. The more that I talk to people about the podcast, and at first they're skeptical because everybody has a podcast, and they're just like, well, I don't. That doesn't make sense. And I start talking and saying, I didn't realize that these things were weird growing up. Like now I realize like how crazy my house was. As I'm reading, for example, this is it, an example. My mom would give us books that you would read in the workplace, like Who Moved My Cheese, and like these like like corporate executive books, and when we'd have to do book reports on them. The I was reading The Prince, Machiavelli, starting in like eighth grade, and so then I had like taken these plus like what I saw on TV, and then I was like, okay, the 16 candles, everything. And I'm like, this is what high school is like, and I have to get ready for high school. So I've been doing this like for my entire life. Anyway, I was like, I need to make a brand for myself. So how do we like do this? So every time that the teacher would leave class, I would start dancing and singing into music videos. So like Dirty, Christina Aguilera, I'm a Slave for You, and were like the big ones. And I would get up on the desk and start doing these things to make friends. Anyway, okay. Yes, so that was like the school. So now I like have friends for the first time. For the first, well, not the first, I mean, I had friends in elementary school, but again, there was a dry spell during my fat period. But came back. So came back, ninth grade, new school, everything's great. Anyway, so I'd been at the school for a while, making friends. 11th grade, I know I'm getting to the point. So I'm getting to the point. But that was important to know. I had just been disqualified for student. I was running for I was running for president of the student body, and was disqualified for running a smear campaign. And and I was very upset because I'm like, isn't high school supposed to get you ready for real life? Like, if isn't this the time where they should realize that there's going to be smear campaigns if they run for office? Let's go to like why I wanted to do Made. Like, so they came to our school. So they were holding auditions. Who wants to be on Made? So usually the show, which I didn't like love, is they have like sometimes like a poor pathetic kid who doesn't have kids. Oh, excuse me, who doesn't have friends, and then they're like, oh, I want to join XYZ thing and then become popular in some way. I was already popular, but I wasn't a sports person, and especially with my dad. And I think I told you a little bit with my brother. My brother was the sports one. My brother did sports. My dad was into sports. Even though I had academic success, my dad just was never like that excited about it. It never like reached the same excitement as my brother's sports teams. It just never did. And so I was like, okay, I wanted to be a track star. I want to go out for the track team because my dad, I might have told you about that, was he was on the track team, but then he got off because he was sick. So then he would run alongside the track team and then would tell us of the importance of wearing a jockstrap because your goodies will fall out of your shorts. Like that would that was always something that he would stress. It's like, make sure your goodies are properly secured and fastened because you don't want that, buddy. You don't want that. It's the most embarrassing thing. So I go to try out and just kind of like tell them. I'm trying to remember what I had like told them, kind of what I just told you, because I was gonna like sing or dance or something, and then they called up and they were just like, "Hey, we think you'd be like an interesting person to have on camera. Why don't we do a test shoot with you and like see where it goes?" So they showed up to the school and did a test shoot. So they show up a little before school and they follow you around doing whatever you do during the course of a day. And then they see like, do you have what it takes? There were so many things that I was doing, even though my grades were great and I was, at the top of whatever, but scam likely because I was also doing a whole lot of other nonsense. A whole lot of other nonsense. So I was like late. So I'm with these cameras trying to like sneak in late because I'm like late to class. I'm like late to first period and like coming through the back door, like trying to slip in with cameras. I'm leaving to like go get a snack and then I'm coming back. In hindsight, it's like that was probably the autism of that just like needing to decompress and like be by myself, but would create these things. So and I'm like taking cameras to the nurse's office while I'm trying to get out of PE, and then like going to PE and like slipping in and have cameras following me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how do I think that I'm slipping in to do this? What I hadn't anticipated was, and maybe that's like I should have, was like how big of a thing this would be. In my mind, I wasn't really thinking about what this would impact like my school, or the school, or how people would remember me or see me, and instantly it did. So they liked me, and I got it. But I also like wanted. I was very like cagey around bringing them home, because at that point my mom was on oxygen. She was like going around the house and could leave the house, but nobody knew that she was like permanently on oxygen. Like it was anytime we traveled, we would have to have like a portable tank and things like that. So that was something that was private and so like to me, and I don't know why I stumbled right there. It was private to me, and I like wouldn't let them come into my house. And the first couple times we shot, it was strange, or they thought it was strange, and then I was just like, oh no, like my dog's not friendly. I have a golden retriever, like it, and they knew that, and everybody's just like, what golden retriever is biting people? Anyway, the first time, and of course, like everything is like orchestrated. This is like the early 2000s. Also, I mean, everything has to be, when people talk about like, oh well, that's not authentic. It's like you have to get people that are willing to film and are good on camera, that these things have to go into that. So that it also changed my friend group, that they're following me for 16 weeks. If you aren't good on camera or aren't willing to be on camera, then we weren't hanging out anymore. That's those were just facts. So my friend group completely changed. That's not a story for today. And I was hanging. I would also like have these shoots with people that made me very uncomfortable. If I'm being very completely honest, the captain of the football team, the captain of the wrestling team, and in the weight room. That was the first day that I met my trainer, who was P Diddy's trainer, also because at the time P Diddy was a good thing. P- you know, it might be a good thing that this MTV show never aired, because I could have been diddied. That's a high likelihood. Okay, so we're in the weight room, and the guy shows up. So he's a black guy, bald. It seemed like he was 7 feet tall. I mean, because I was a kid back then, and in a matching track suit. Already, I was feeling like this guy's like a little bit of a clown, but was like talking to me like, bro, like we're gonna get you like jacked up, and the other guys are like pushing all of these, because they're like huge big guys, and mind you, at this point I'm like 125 pounds, maybe. So like very thin, and I could barely do the bench presses, and he was telling me the importance of putting your weights back, which I'm rolling my eyes, but that is a very important value. So the most important thing that I learned from the P Diddy's trainer is to put your weights back. Re-rack your weights. Nobody does that anywhere. If you are someone who is not re-racking your weights, you are an asshole, sir, and you need to change your ways. But he wasn't really training me seriously. He would show up to shoot, and then I would go someplace else, a speed school, to actually do the conditioning. So it was always like a little bit annoying, and you could tell that he had like a chip on his shoulder, and I was a jerk back then. I mean, teenagers are jerks. That's just like what it is. And I knew that he was like a little bit irritated by it. So anytime he was telling me to do something that I was annoyed by, I would just like shift his wig a little bit and be like, do you think you're gonna do like collaborations with P Diddy after this? Knowing the answer was no, because I could feel it, and then I would just like get a small joy out of like, shifting it. Okay, so one of the things that was really cool is going to Foot Locker. So I had this like shopping spree, and I got to go to Foot Locker and get all athletic clothes because I had no athletic clothes before. That was probably like one of the most exciting things out of this. So we went into New York City, the flagship Foot Locker store. The manager comes down, and they're just like, we're so excited that you're joining the track team, and we want to give you everything that you need, and so I had like all of these like new clothes, and that was like pretty cool, and all of these clothes too that I didn't wear. So before Kanye was wearing polos, and this is why I stopped wearing polos. Okay, because I was wearing polo since birth. And then all of a sudden Kanye West comes along and everyone's like doing like, oh, you're doing the Kanye West thing. It's like, what are you talking about? He got this from me. I was prepped before, like way before this. Anyway, but I didn't have any athletic clothes. So I would go to the Foot Locker, get like tricked out and everything. And then that was it. Okay. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that I forgot the surprise. Okay, so we went and got the surprise, or excuse me, we went and got the clothes here, and then the next day there was a surprise. I knew there was a surprise coming, but I didn't know what it was. The shopping spree was on a Friday, and it was going into a holiday weekend. Just like for context, so had there go home with all of my stuff. I'm excited, and I'm showing my brother and my mom, and anyway. So we're doing that. Go to sleep. I'm awoken. I'm awoken with like a shaking of the bed and bright lights in my face, like in my bedroom, and the trainer's there. In my house. He's never been in my house before. Cameras are there, and they're like, "Wake up! We're going to boot camp." And I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" And we're like, "You're going to go to with the search and rescue a team in Pensacola, Florida, to do a PT training with them to get you ready to tackle this high school sports team, high school track team." I was furious. I was furious at like everyone. It's like, what's happening right now? And of course my mom knew this too. Like I was like, how could you do that to me? Question mark. Like how could you do that? I was there showing you these things, and you know that I'm going to be like swept up and taken away to Pensacola, Florida in the morning, and you say nothing. You're just like smiling, waiting there, and I'm like, oh, treachery, treacherous. Anyway, see, Zach's here to help keep me honest because sometimes I say things and I just forget that I say them. It's funny because I remember everything I hear. I don't remember everything that I say. And I forgot that I had already told you that everybody finds out about my eating disorder, but I didn't tell you about any of the details that were happening behind the scenes there. It's funny how you remember a story the way that you want it and then realize that maybe that wasn't like the whole truth. So by this point, we had as like the team, and we had a filming at Pizzeria Uno. We had gone out to Pizzeria Uno and had a filming and shooting with a huge group of friends for a filming day. And I left my mic on going to the bathroom while I was purging. And so the producers after came, like pulled me aside, and it's like, hey, we like heard something going on. Are you sick? Like if you are, like, and then I'm just like, no, my like stomach was upset a little bit. But they started to now monitor it, and then they realized like we see the pattern of things, that it's like we see you, we've like witnessed this. It's a constant thing of you not feeling well or like being faint, where you're exercising and then you're like passing out and doing these things. Like it seems like there's like an eating issue. And I was also like very, very lean as well. And they were following me for 16 weeks. So they're like, we know that you don't eat at school. It's like a half of a pretzel and like dry lettuce, lettuce with like no dressing was like what I would eat. And then a root beer float at the end of the day. And like, that was it. And so they're like, hey, these things are coming up and we're like concerned with you. And I'm like, I'm fine. So this was already like a discussion. I had to say that because this is like, anyway, it's important. Okay, fast forward to Pensacola. So and I was leaving that day. So they show up and it's like that, get your stuff. We already packed your stuff. I guess my mom had packed my bag already. And we went straight to the airport. So now it was from there flying to Newark and going down to Pensacola, Florida. I was not in a good mood about this. I was not a good sport. I was not a good sport. I was just like, why would you do this? Is this necessary? Why do I need to do this to be in a high school team? The weather was horrible. Like it's like early spring, and so it's like torrential rain and just like disgusting. And they're trying to get me to eat oatmeal, and I was like staying in a Ramada, and it was just. Yeah, it was nothing that I would have chosen for myself. And so now, I'm in the car. They're trying to feed me oatmeal, and I'm not having it. And they're like, okay, well, here, you have your athletic stuff, go out and join the guys. And I look out. So these are search and rescue Navy SEALs. This is a Navy SEAL training. So it's not even only are they Navy SEAls, there's the search and rescue guys. So it's intense. It's swimming and just like everything. They're in formation doing like jumping jacks, and there's the guy that's looks like he's from Major Payne. If there's a movie, I don't know if you've seen, but he's just like yelling. It's everything that you see in the movies, and it's just like getting in your face. So I run and get in line, and then he comes over and he's like yelling, in my face. It's like, Pears, what do you think? Say, why are you smiling? And I'm just like, oh my god, I can't believe that I'm doing this. And all the guys are there. I feel awkward. I'm like this skinny little kid, and there are all of these like actual men around. And I'm doing jumping jacks. And again, I'm like not in shape. I am not in shape at all. So I am huffing and puffing, and they're doing calisthenics, and I start like falling behind. We do a short little run, and then at this point, I had like had enough. And so because it's the push-ups. So you had to do like push-ups for 5 minutes. It was like 5 minutes of push-ups, and you're going on, and I was dying. And so I can't even push up off the ground. It's raining sideways. The rain's coming down sideways. I'm soaking wet. This man is like screaming at me. And then that's when I was like, I have to fake an asthma attack. And so then I start huffing and puffing and roll over to my side and pull out like my best acting skills. And I was like, I can't breathe. I can't. And they're like, what's going on? What's going on, Private? And I'm like, I can't. Moving to my inhaler. And then that's when they come in, and they're just like, oh, okay, he's asthmatic, and I think this might be a medical emergency. And so they're like pulling me up to the side, and then I'm like heaving, and I'm in pain. I'm like, I don't even know if these symptoms don't make sense for the way that I'm like acting this out, but I just needed to be dramatic so I can like stop this and get a reprieve. So they pull me in, and the whole time the producer Chris that I was working with is like looking and of course concerned, but also like, I don't know about this. And at this point he had seen some of my antics and was like not quite. I don't think you like fully bought it. But then someone like brings me the inhaler, and I do the inhaler, and then he's just like, well, you don't have to go back out there. And I think that was when I was like, oh, thank God. Instant recovery. Instant recovery. Going from maybe we need to call an ambulance to like, oh, okay, I'm fine. I think I'll be able to get past this. And yeah, so that was, they gave me my uniform. Like the shorts, like the matching. So I got like the Ranger panties, that's what they call them, in blue. And then the next day was when we would do the 5 mile run. And it was like 5 or 10, I can't remember. We'll go with 10 because that's more dramatic. In hindsight, I'll tell you about this like run and why this was like so monumental, or like maybe changed my life. One of like a pivotal moments of my life. It's how I got into Cornell. So my essay was about my experience here, and I decided to do something, to like tell some jokes and to say the experience. Later, when I met the dean who admitted me, said I was on the borderline of a yes and a no, and then she read the essay, and then she shared it around, and she was like, "You were funny. You like made me laugh," and I was like, "Okay, this kid has it," and that was what pushed it over. So it was like this run. Okay, so go back to, so I had faked the asthma attack the day before and was like trying to get around. Anyway, so we're going on this run. The camera crew is, so all of the guys are like running, and I kept up for maybe the first mile or two. And then I was really like far behind. It was 5 miles. There was no way that I made it to 10. There was no way I made it to 10. This was a 5 mile run. So we're going, and I'm like lagging behind and really hurting. And now everybody knew that I faked the day before, and they told on me. They tattled. They told the drill sergeant that I faked the asthma attack. And I was like, that's dirty. You are a low down dirty dog for doing that. How dare you? Question mark. Okay, so they had told me they had like told them that I was faking before. Now they're on the truck, of the pickup truck, and I am the rain. And again, it's raining. The rain is coming sideways. I am stumbling. Everything in my body hurts, and I'm like limping along this thing. And the guys, a couple of the Navy SEALs, were hanging back with me and like rooting me on. But I wanted to give up. I wanted to give up. And I was, even though I was like a quarter mile, it was like the last quarter mile, and I fell. I like tripped over something in the road and fell, and I was just like laying there, and I was just like, you know what? I can just put my hand up, and somebody will come get me, and this can be over. But something told me, I was like, you know what? You will be mad forever if you don't push yourself to finish this. You will hate this moment, and be able to you'll look back and realize that you gave up when you could have finished, even though it was hard. Like, you just have to do it. You have to do it, and even if you like die doing it. So I like got up and pushed myself to like sprint the last like quarter mile, and then I got there, and all of the guys were there cheering and like chanting like the hoo-yah, hoo-yah, or like hoorah. It's like one of those chants. I can't quite remember. It's been 20 years. So they're like chanting, and it was like one of the most exciting, most exhilarating moments of my life, when I was just like, oh my gosh, that was great. I'm covered in mud. It's wet. My glasses were fogging because at the time I think I had contact. No, I don't know if I had contact. Anyway, whatever it was like a dramatic. They're like lifting me up and like chanting, and I have this like great photo somewhere of all of us together, and it was like it was one of the best times where I really dug deeper and was stronger than I thought that I could be. Anyway, so now, going off of that high, yeah, so it's like that high, and now we'll go back to New Jersey and to when everything fell apart. So there was what was happening on camera and in this show, and then everything that was happening behind the scenes too. With my mom was getting like progressively worse, and so that was something that I was managing at home. There would be times that I would miss class or like half of a day because there would be an issue with the oxygen tanks being removed. It started from she was on a compressor that could take oxygen from the air and compress it to these tanks, these like massive tanks that would have to be delivered to our house every week. And if something happened, like a snowstorm or something, or flooding, then it would become this like emergency situation of like, what are we going to do? And at the time, again, I'm not 18, didn't have a driver's license, but would have to like drive and like figure these things out. So that's like happening behind the scenes. She was shooting a TV show. So she was shooting a TV show while I was shooting a TV show on TLC. This was before TLC became trashy. It was actually the Learning Channel back then instead of whatever it is right now. So she was shooting a show, and I mean, a funny aside. So we have these things going on, and my mom went out to lunch with a girlfriend, and came back, and she was furious. She was furious, and we're like, "What's going on?" And she like calls up my stepdad. So my mom had gone to lunch and went to pay for the bill. And the friend goes, "Oh no, 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 no! I have it. I saw the story in the paper, and I didn't know like that things were that bad." And my mom was like, "What are you talking about?" And then it was like the cover of the Star Ledger on like a Thursday, and it was my stepdad talking about how he was an executive at a bank and was forced into early retirement, and now has to take care of his disabled wife. And my mom was furious and like came up, and she was just like, how did nobody called you? So he had felt like left out, and so he's like, well, everyone else is doing a TV show, I have a story I want to talk about. That was also something too when we were shooting, that it was funny, like kind of like right now there'd be a red light when you're recording, and my stepdad would start going on and on about physics or like quantum physics, and then you would just see the light go off, and just they would entertain him and like let him tell the story and think that he was being recorded, but when like nobody's recording. I'm like, no. Anyway, okay. This is when I get nervous, sometimes I start telling stories that weren't related. So at this time, I had made a deal with the producers. I'd made a deal with the producers that I was not going to be purging anymore, and that things were safe to go forward. I wasn't keeping my end of the bargain. So I was still like passing out, and it was the one time when I collapsed on a treadmill at the speed school that he was just like, "This is serious, and I think that you need help." So after school, they tell me to meet them in the parking lot of the Secaucus Public School Library, or like not public school library, the Secaucus Public Library. So they told me to meet them in the parking lot, and I thought it was just the one producer. So I get there, and it's dark because it's nighttime anyway, and someone else gets out of the car too, and it's his boss, George. George used to date Molly Sims. I mean, that's like neither here nor there. But so he gets out and he's like, "Hey, I am the supervisor on the show. I've been looped in on this, and for legal reasons, we have to stop filming. We have to alert your parents. You're underage. This has become a dangerous situation, and it seems like there have been marked dangerous incidents, and we're not comfortable going forward with this, and we have to tell your parents." And I'm flipping out. Like, it's just like, then just leave. Why do you have to blow up my life too? So like, just like stop. Just just go back to New York, take your cameras, and just leave me with my life. Like, you don't have to blow things up. And they're like, "No, we have to." And so now I'm like screeching, like, "I'm not getting in the car with you. Like, no, I'm not coming with you." Like, I was just like very loud. And I told you that people in the town like knew who I was. So this was like after I had been in a few of the plays. And so there was someone who was walking past and heard like this screaming, like, "I'm not getting in the car with you." This is also around like Elizabeth Smart was getting kidnapped, and people were getting snatched up everywhere, like on the news. So they call the 911, and because they're like, "Hey, I think Adam Pears is being kidnapped uh, in the parking lot of the library. Like, send somebody over." All right, then I get out my phone and I call Michelle, and I'm just like, "This is an emergency. I need you to pick me up at the public library parking lot." And she's like, I just like passed there." I'm like, "I know you did." So she's like dramatically like does a U-turn, like whips a U-turn in her little like red sports car, comes and I jump in, and I'm just like, "We have to like race home. I have to beat them home because this is like something." So she's like, "What's going on?" And I'm just like, "They're lying about me, and they're saying I have an eating disorder, and they're like gonna stop filming, and they're gonna tell my parents that we just have to like go, and we have to stop this." So she's like, "I'm on it." And so we're like zipping back home. I stop at the gate because there's a gate to get into the community where we lived, and I revoked their access because they were on the list before, and I like took them off of the list and told them like, "Do not let the car be that's like coming to like, do not let them in. They're like dangerous. Like, don't do it." So now we're like racing in, and I see them coming up to the gate now, and the guards get out and stop them and saying like, "You can't get in." We're racing in, but then there's also police that I hear like sirens in the background too. And so now we're like going, and I tell Michelle like, "All right, thank you, but I have to like go." And so I'm running in the door. My golden retriever is like jumping and like barking, and I'm just like yelling, out like these people are just telling lies about me, and you don't know what's happened. And my mom is like, "What's going on?" The phone is going, and the phone's ringing. She's like, "Why is the guard calling me and saying that you're like not doing?" It was just like complete like madness. The police are now coming into the house, so there's like officers. I'm yelling. Then the producers are there, and it was just like when my whole life just blew up. It just blew up. I remember just sitting there after, like, after they realized that there wasn't like a mortal danger here, and the police went home, and now we're there with the producers, and it's my parents, or my mom, and my stepdad, which like made it even like more awkward because we were never like truly comfortable with each other. And it's like, "Oh my god, now you have to know about this. You already know about the porn thing, and and now you know about this." uh I didn't know how I thought that I was going to like sneak watching porn when my parents are in like cybersecurity, like OG, like OG, like infrastructure engineers. Don't know how thought I was gonna pull a fast one and tell them like, "Oh, I don't know." Like, that's just, I don't know why that, anyway. Okay. Yeah, so we're there, and so I decided to not tell the truth. I was going to, because my brother and my mom had also suffered from acid reflux. So I was going to say that this was an acid reflux thing mistaken for an eating disorder, and they don't know what they're talking about. And anyway, so that was a story that I went with at the time. They didn't really believe me, but they wanted to. And it was one of the, I think, the hardest part of this, one of the hardest parts was how disappointed my mom was. And at first I couldn't register like the disappointment. I thought it was with me. But later when we talked, it was with herself, that she couldn't believe that this was happening in her house. She couldn't believe that I could be so sick and have witnessed it and didn't understand or like think that anything was going on. That she knew that all of these things were true. She like the weight loss was extreme. For Christmas, I was asking for ab rollers, like the like an ab machine, and I was like obsessed with it. And but she had encouraged it because being fat was the worst thing that you could be like in this world. So no, everyone was fine. And now she would comment that I was like maybe too thin and that my head looked big with my body, and nobody's trying to look like Nancy Reagan, with like things that my mom would say. But okay, yeah, so that disappointment. So then it was like the first time too, I had to break the news to everybody at school that it wasn't filming, or it wasn't going to air. This thing that they had all been and included in for 16 weeks was now like gone. And then on top of that, also getting out that it was because I had an eating disorder, and it left me like kind of wrecked. So I think it was one of the most pivotal moments of public humiliation. And once you do that and get through that, you're so much stronger afterwards. And I think that I never could do this. I could never have you in my house like this if I hadn't gone through these kind of events. So, in hindsight, I would never think that was something that I'd be like, oh, that was a great thing. And it got me into college too. So I guess overall, this is a good story and a positive story, but it was dramatic. It was dramatic AF at the moment. And even thinking back of it, it makes me, start sweating. It's like the nerves, the nerves of reliving these things. Anyway, yes, so that was the time that I was on MTV Made and Search and Rescue, all of that stuff. And everyone found out I had an eating disorder. But but overall, it was a good experience. Now, when we come back, we're going to do my favorite part of the show, my favorite part of the show, Pair Necessities, where I share with you my favorite things. It's not sponsored. These are just things between friends. Anyway, give me a second and I will be right back. All right, welcome back. I'm Madam Pears, and this is the Pair Necessities, where I tell you I share with you the things that I can't live without, the necessities of life. And I'm going back to like the OG one, and again, I can't stress this enough. This is you do not leave the house without this. Jack Black Lip Balm. This time I'm doing mint, lemon, grapefruit are my favorites. And before, I told you about the time that I got the mint in somebody's eyes, and for a while I stopped doing it because it has a little bit of a cooling effect, but I love it so much, like for myself. So, okay, I put it top and bottom. Like you put it on your lips and you also put it on your hole downstairs too. That if there's oral sex or anything like that, it makes it like so much better. But I'm going to tell you like a quick story. So I went to the doctor recently and I told him about my podcast because I'm telling everybody in my life. So I told him about the podcast and the lip balm, and he goes, well, first, as a doctor, I have to tell you, like, you should not be putting anything like on right before your appointment because I need to see you in your natural state. I'm like, this is my natural state. What are you talking about? But he said, I have to admit that it is a very like pleasant scent when I do go down there, and I appreciate your hygiene. And I'm like, thank you. That it was like such a like high praise and compliment and I was like, so yeah, I respect you and your like profession. I'm not going to come in here with some like funk musky nonsense. Anyway, so that was really great. Jack Black lip balm. I love the mint. And the another benefit of this is if you out of mints like in your mouth, there is like a light smell if someone comes in for a kiss that could mask any like mild like stale breath. If it's crazy, then you just need to brush your teeth. There's nothing getting around that. But if it's, the middle of the day and maybe you're a little dehydrated, it's something that will get you through. And again, I have these in every single pocket, any one of my pockets. Every pocket, every jacket has one of these, and I have at least 20 around my house right now. You get it at scamlikely.com, and that's scamlikely.com. And that is my website where you get everything that I curate for you. And I've done the research to give you the best of the best. Ooh, that was so much fun. I love when you come over every time. Like and subscribe. It makes a huge difference. And all of those you guys that are enjoying the show, hit the like button and subscribe. That's how I grow and continue to do this. And again, you can find me at scamlikely.com. I'm Adam Pears. Come over soon and we'll gossip and tell stories. We're not gossiping, we're just telling stories and tales. Come over, it's going to be a great time. Can't wait to see you again. See ya.